Hey VC, it's Nate again after a long absence. So Bobby Gass made a video showing his Jimi Hendrix collection, and he kind of challenged. I guess he asked some of us to show our Hendrix collections, and it might take a while, but I'm gonna go through mine and see how it turns out. First is a copy of Are You Experienced, his first album, 1967. I think this is a mid to late 70s pressing. That's the only cover or the only version I have of that. So it's a solid orange reprise label. Here's Axis Bold as Love. This is an early pressing, I think. Yeah, late 60s, because it's got the two-tone orange reprise label. Next is really an interesting one. It's a bootleg of Axis Bold as Love. It's from the Bahamas, and I got this in London, and there's the label right there. That's pretty cool. It doesn't say stereo or mono. I'm assuming it's mono. It doesn't sound great. It's an unofficial bootleg, so yeah. Here's a Colombian stereo version of Axis Bold as Love. Found this at a consignment store for like $3. Wasn't sure what it was because it didn't say Axis Bold as Love, but I checked it out in the track listing checks. And here's a copy of the one that the most recent official one by the released by the family. Next, of course, is Electric Ladyland, the regular American issue. It's probably late 70s, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to take it out. I think I don't have the British one with the naked ladies on the front cover. That's kind of a grail. Goes for some money, but anyway, this is the official the latest reissue from the Experience Hendrix collection, authorized Hendrix family edition of Electric Ladyland. Next is a couple copies of Band of Gypsies, the New Year's Eve Fillmore concerts. Later on, they released this Machine Gun, which was the first show at New Year's Eve at the Fillmore. It's got a lot of the stuff that was on Band of Gypsies, and then it's a 2-record set, so there's more. There's like a Stop, Easy Rider, Bleeding Heart, Earth Blues, Burning Desire, and then they released the jumbo box set that has all the shows of the Band of Gypsies. You can see the track listing on there. Well, it's a little shady, kind of blurry. More light required. Oh, anyway, yeah, it's got all 4 shows, the 2 shows from New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, including a version of Auld Lang Syne on the second set of New Year's Eve. This is one that Bobby showed, Otis Redding and Jimi Hendrix at from the Monterey Pop Festival. That was in '67. And then this here is Jimi at the Monterey Pop Festival, an official Hendrix release. It's got more songs than is on the original. Up next is a bootleg from live at the Los Angeles Forum in April 1970. Up next is something that came out on Rykodisc in the 80s. It's Radio 1, some recordings of BBC sessions that he did. And then, of course, they came out with the 3-disc set of the complete BBC sessions. And this sounds a lot better than the old one. Actually, Rykodisc was known for its top-of-the-line digital presses back in the day. And most of their vinyl came out clear, like that, Coke bottle clear. I mean, it's not a great pressing, it's not a great sounding album. Oops. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's like back in the early days of digital. So, I mean, they were kind of working with the old tapes too, but the family got it, and they really did it right with this one. And they added, there's a whole extra album of stuff that wasn't on the Radio 1. Yeah, the Radio 1 is only 3 sides, so, but this is like twice as long. So, anyway, next. Bobby showed this one, Kiss the Sky. This is a like a compilation of stuff. Are You Experienced? I Don't Live Today, Voodoo Child, Stepping Stone, Castles Made of Sand. This is stuff that's it was all previously released on his regular albums. I think one song came off of Smash Hits. Here's Blues. This originally came out in, I want to say like 93 or 94. Back when MCA had the rights to put out his material. I had this on CD. The family when they got the rights back to all the material, all the recordings, they reissued this. And this actually sounds really good for being like just stuff that he never released. But he was like a studio rat. As you will see, there is tons of stuff that he did in the studio. Here is the Jimi Hendrix concerts, collection of his most exciting performances, it says, featuring unreleased live versions of Hey Joe, Stone Free and Voodoo Child. This came out in 1984. This is a British pressing, I think. Nope, 1982. Okay, this is another thing from Rykodisc. This was Jimmy at Winterland with the Jimi Hendrix Experience. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember hearing this. It might sound good, it might not. I don't quite remember. Here's some stuff of him, like, goofing around, I guess. This is a lot of stuff he put out at the record. He recorded at the record plant. Some jazzy stuff, mostly with the Band of Gypsies. It's instrumental stuff. No vocals on this album. Here is a German compilation, Gigantes del Pop. They put out a whole slew of these with different artists, I think, of the time, like Cream and Pink Floyd and stuff like that. This is on Polydor. Yeah. And here's another bootleg, unofficial. Woke up this morning and found myself dead. It's got Jim Morrison, Johnny Winter, Buddy Miles on it. This is the infamous one that has Jim Morrison's Lament on it. So Jimmy was at a club after hours, I guess, and they were just jamming. And Jim Morrison comes out, and he's drunk, really drunk. So he's like, "Hey man, I want to get up on stage. You know who I am?" And Jimmy's like, "Yeah, I know." So he gets up and just starts screaming. I'm not gonna. Yeah, okay, you got to hear it. Google or check out Morrison's Lament on YouTube. It's a trip. Let's see here. Here is Rainbow Bridge, which was sorry for the glare. Rainbow Bridge. This came out in the late '70s. That had some of his posthumous stuff. It's just. I think it was supposed to be a movie, and I don't know if they ever made the movie. Here's Midnight Lightning. This is some loose ends and War Heroes are all just stuff that he didn't release during his lifetime that was in the vaults during the '70s, and right after he died, there was like a cash grab, and they just put out these random records with stuff, just stuff that they would find. There's some good stuff on there. War Heroes is a good album. There's some really good stuff on here. Bleeding Heart, Highway Child, Beginning, Isabella. Isabella's a great song. He played that at Woodstock, actually. Let's see here. Live at the Isle of Wight. This is a German pressing, I believe. This was on Polydor. It came out in the late '70s. Here's some something called Rare Hendrix. This is the stuff that really a lot of cheapo labels put out a lot of these with the same material on them. With it's him with, I can't remember if it's Curtis Knight and the Squires or a couple of the bands that he played with before they had the Experience. This is all early stuff. He's not singing on it. There's some of his guitar playing, but it's not, the sound quality is not great. It's pretty cheap stuff. This is Experience Jimi Hendrix. This was from the full-length motion picture. And here is more Experience Hendrix, which is very similar to that. This is an American pressing. This one is British. Let's see. Cry of Love. This was the big one that came out after he died. They took a lot of the stuff that he was working on for the official, the big album that he was going to come out with, the 2 record set, I think, and it ended up being something else that they put together, the family put together and compiled with Eddie Kramer, his producer. So there's a whole story of legal wranglings of who fighting back and forth between the family and Alan Douglas, and just who had the rights to the music, and that's why there's so much stuff. And yeah, it's I collect it. Let's see. That was a fairly new reissue. That's the label. And this is an older '70s copy that's not in good condition at all. It sounds good, but there's some water damage. Here's some soundtrack recordings to the film Jimi Hendrix, which came out briefly, maybe 1973, a little after he died. There's a lot of interviews, family, friends, musicians. It's I watched it recently. It's not, I mean, it's okay. There's nothing in there that the average fan didn't know before. Hendrix in the West. This is some live stuff. Mostly done with Buddy Cox and Billy Cox and Buddy Mitchell, the Band of Gypsies. This is just like the cheap older one, the stuff that came out with after he died, but it's stuff that was before Jimi Hendrix Experience. This is not good. This is really not good. As is this. This is not. I mean, this is okay. It's it came out in 1980. Some mid-level label decided to put that out. Jimi Hendrix at his best, Volume 1. And Volume 2. It's definitely not at his best. What I think happened with this, I remember reading about, if I'm right, some guy, he was jamming in somebody's apartment or something, and some guy had a tape recorder, and he just flipped the tape recorder on and started recording Jimmy, and the sound quality is not good. See, that's a bizarre, that's kind of a shady label right there. It says Saga Pan. They're not even regular song titles that were Jimmy's. They're just random titles that he threw on the album. She Went to Bed with My Guitar, Free Thunder, Caveman Bells, Stroking a Lady on Each Hip, Baby Chicken Strut. And the person who recorded these actually, it was a pretty smart thing, shady, but he put his name as the songwriter credit on the album, and he's the one who made the money off of it, not Jimmy. So this is unofficial. It's not great. Let's see. Two Essential Jimi Hendrix, Volume 1 and 2. This is a 2-record set. This is 1 record. A lot of good stuff on this. This is, I mean, as far as compilations go, these are really all you need. And one comes with a 7-inch of Gloria that he did. It's pretty good. Of course, the infamous Smash Hits. I got 3 of them. One that I had since I was like 3 years old. I think that's it because it's got tape on it. And the record was going to fall out. But yeah, Smash Hits is pretty, that's like, everybody had that one after he died. Or actually, no, Smash Hits came out before he died. I think it came out before Band of Gypsies because he needed a contractual, due to his contract, he needed to release something else. So they put out a really good compilation. Crash Landing, this is more stuff that he was working with before he died. I think that, I want to say Alan Douglas is the producer, overdubbed a bunch of stuff that are a bunch of session musicians that Jimmy didn't really work with to put that out. That's sort of just another of the things they were doing to make money off his name. This is an official bootleg album from the family. Experience Hendrix. Unreleased 1969 studio recordings. Hear My Music. It was a Record Store Day release. And then somebody, I think they put it out for Record Store Day again, as if they really needed to. Here's a couple of things that came out in the 90s. First Rays of the New Rising Sun, which is what Eddie Kramer said was close to what he was going to put out right before he died, as far as like a fourth album, the fourth studio album. And yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff. If you're interested, check this out. I really recommend this one. There's a lot of good songs on this. Around the same time, South Saturn Delta came out. This is more stuff that was on Loose Ends and War Heroes and Crash Landing. It sounds really good. This is a lot of random songs that didn't really go anywhere else, so they just sort of put it on a compilation. Woodstock. This was I want to say this was a FYE for your entertainment. Those mall stores, like an exclusive for them, is in Purple Haze vinyl. It's pretty good. Sounds great. Of course, the CDs came out in the 90s, I believe. This of the same material. So I had it back then, but I got the record when I found that. This was a record store day Black Friday release a couple years ago. Paris, '67. It's got it's the Experience. They play Stone Free, Hey Joe, Fire, Catfish Blues, Red House, Purple Haze, Wild Thing. Here's another live album, Miami Pop Festival. This is a good one. This is from May 18th, 1968. And in the teens, the 2000 teens, the whoever was in charge of his estate and the music, I think Eddie Kramer, his producer, went into the vaults and pretty much picked them clean for a trilogy of records, Valleys of Neptune, and let's see, Both Sides of the Sky, and People, Hell, and Angels. So a lot of this stuff is unreleased studio recordings that they found. Sounds good. It's good stuff. They didn't put out trash. But I think on this one, Stephen Still was on it. Stephen Stills. And a couple more big names I can't quite remember. Burning Desire. This is a lot of just scraps of stuff that he was working on before he died. And it's all put together. Stuff that he recorded at the record plant. This is from when he was with Curtis Knight and the Squires, before he was with the Experience. You Can't Use My Name. And there's a reason they use that term, that phrase, you can't use my name. He was signed at one point with PPX Recordings, and he had to put out a certain amount of product for them. And so they went and used his stuff with Curtis Knight and the Squires and a couple other things before he became famous. And they just put that out, but they didn't use his name. I guess there was some kind of agreement there. This is volume 2 of Curtis Knight and the Squires, No Business. More stuff from before he was famous. Los Angeles Forum, April 1969. That's with the Experience. Everybody, this is one of the great ones. Live at Berkeley with the, it says Jimi Hendrix Experience, but it's not. It's with Billy Cox and Mitch Mitchell with the Band of Gypsies, or the band that he had gotten together with after he ditched the Experience. And Atlanta Pop Festival, Freedom. I don't know. I got this at Walmart a couple years ago, and it's with Red, White, and Blue Swirls. I don't think I've opened it. It's still sealed. Then now we have box sets. Oh boy. Live in Maui, what was known as to collectors as the Rainbow Bridge concert was re-released by the family as Live in Maui. This is a 3-record set. They came with a DVD that was interesting about how it kind of went awry recording there. It was just a whole to-do. This is the mother of all box sets of his stuff. This came out in the early 2000s. I had the CD, and then I got a gift card from Amazon, and this was on sale, so I picked this up. This is a whole bunch of stuff that was previously unreleased, and just from all over the vaults, and they put this together. This is excellent. The sound quality is so good. Here's another box set. West Coast Seattle Boy. This is a lot of stuff. Let's see, with Little Richard, the Isley Brothers, Don Covey, Billy Lamont, King Curtis. A lot of stuff he did before he was famous. And then there's more stuff that was previously unreleased, studio tracks that were swirling around the vaults. And just recently, this came out maybe like a month or two ago. This is Electric Ladyland, or Electric Lady Studios, a Jimi Hendrix Vision. And there's a DVD in this box set. This is fascinating. He built his own studio in New York City, Electric Lady. So this DVD documentary goes through the whole story of how he built it to his specifications, and he just wanted to buy a club where he could go and jam. But that wouldn't be very profitable, so he built a studio, and it's still in operation today in New York. And a couple of bootlegs. You can't use my name. There's that again. You can't use my name. This is a bunch of stuff. Side 2 is completely from Maui. I think the same concert that's on here. Let's see, and another one with it's just really bizarre. It's called Gypsy on Cloud 9. So this has a bunch of stuff, just instrumental jams. They call this they call him Sir James Marshall. Sir James Marshall instead of Jimi Hendrix. But yeah, it's interesting. It's not anything that I would probably listen to again, but it's for a collector to have. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that's my Jimi Hendrix collection. And I'm still always looking out for more stuff. There's a couple of concert albums that they released recently that I do not have. I haven't picked up yet. If I find them, I'll get them. So yeah, thanks for showing your Hendrix collection, Bobby, and have a good night.